Hello, guys. Welcome back to S3D. And yes, now that I'm back in San Francisco, back in my apartment, I'm going to give you guys a second look, another look on the Gundam Universe Exia figure. I'm also going to compare the Gundam Universe Exia figure to the other one that I reviewed in my car, the Strike Gundam. I don't collect these, so these are going to go up for consignment at my local hobby shop. Hopefully somebody pick it up over the weekend. That would be nice. I end up getting a lot of these figures from people who try to sponsor my channel. But unfortunately, I don't accept sponsorships. I don't shield for anybody. I am a seller myself. So, yeah, you guys will be making a bad choice trying to sponsor my channel when I'm gonna be competing against you when it comes to sales and stuff like that. So yeah, I also support my local hobby shop, all of them. So it gets into the situation where it's like we have a conflict of interest. So anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at these two figures. Yeah, I think I was a little bit overly generous in my in-car review on the Exia. Obviously, because I'm my former coworker in the back seat, and I didn't want to say something really awful about his, the thing that he lent me. I ended up trading him a case of Zoa energy drink. I think it retails for like $25 at Costco or something like that. I'm not a Costco member, actually. I just got, we were issued Costco gift cards, $200 Costco gift cards for our stay at our, the marketing job situation. I decided I'm going to keep that job. We're working something out. They're going to let me work remotely. I sort of believe in the company. I just don't like the fact that I have to commute all the way to San Diego for this job. But they're doing good stuff in the medical field. I feel like they're unlike other companies. They're not doing something very awful. But who knows? I've only been with the company for like 3 months. So anyway. It's a part-time gig, so I'm not expecting, a lot of thing out of it. I just don't want to, commute 400 miles for a part-time job, which is ridiculous. Anyway, let's get back on track. We're gonna look at this figure again. This is not part of the. This is like an update to the review. So, I am actually planning to lower the score on the Exia. Now that I can compare it next to the Strike. Why am I comparing this thing to the Strike? Well, it's these are stuff from different Gundam series, LWC, honestly, I think they did the Gundam C figures a little bit better than the Gundam 00 figures. With the UC figures, I can tell you most of them are very disappointing. But with the non-UC and non-Wing Universe figures, I was under the impression they have an opportunity to make stuff that are more decent, right? So yeah, I can tell you the Strike is missing a little bit less paint applications. I'm not super familiar with the Strike, so I can say for 100% that is 100% color accurate. It might be missing some color apps somewhere here and there. But the thing is, okay, these figures are not designed to look like the anime counterparts. They're designed to look like the artwork counterparts, or maybe the mobile game counterparts. Because if you watch the Gundam 00 anime, you can clearly see Exia has yellow panels on his headpiece. And that's not present here. And on the GN drive, I think this part they just got lazy because like trying to paint these things or use a different piece of plastic might cost too much money, so they just leave this whole thing one color, just like the Gunpla. The Gunpla is just like one piece that plugs into the back, and technically these areas where the GN drive is supposed to spin. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, this section right here, This is supposed to be gray too, so it's really missing a lot of colors. The rest of the parts you can you can panel line to bring out the details. I think this section here is supposed to have color too. This is supposed to be gray, but it's just not present. I think Bandai cut a lot of corners for Exia. Yeah. And again, why do I compare the Exia to the Strike? Well, the Strike got a Target exclusive, the red one, the Strike Rouge. And the Exia also got a Target exclusive version of the Trans Am mode, all right? And not only that, the Strike got the Season 2 version, the Freedom, right? And the Exia also got the Season 2 version, the Double O Gundam, Double Riser. So very interesting. They're mirroring each other. But I'm hoping, if we see another Gundam Seed suit from Gundam Universe, that would pretty much guarantee that we will be getting another suit from the Double O line. Hopefully it's not Quanta or something. If they give us Strike Freedom, then that means the Double O is gonna get Quanta. Yeah, and then it might just end with that. But anyway, yeah. So Exia, look at his hips, and like the hips looks really wide on Exia because I think that's just the design of the Exia. Some people are telling me like Exia has this extremely wide hips, just like the RG, but I think that's just due to the way it's designed. I also noticed something that I did not notice with previous Gundam Universe reviews. Is that they do have drop down hips, so that kind of improved the articulation a little bit, but not so much. I mean, can Exia even do a roundhouse kick? Kind of, maybe. I know I did it on a unicorn, but yeah, I think it's this section that hinders the articulation. That's a little bit unfortunate, even though it doesn't have a side skirt and stuff like that. So yeah, the articulation really isn't all that amazing, to be honest with you. Let's see if the Strike can do a roundhouse kick. The Strike actually can do a better kick, even though it has a side skirts, because the side skirts can move and it doesn't have that little panel that blocks the articulation. So actually, I was wrong about the articulation. The articulation on Exia in some areas are worse than the articulation on a standard one like the Strike. The Strike probably still have the better overall articulation. The only thing that's good about Exia is this section right here, because believe it or not, I did not know until I disassembled this. You can see right here, this is how all the Gundam Universe figures are designed like. It's a ball joint that goes into here, and then you just plug that in right there. This is a very interesting design, but it doesn't work very well. Exia does have, he does have really good range of movement, like because of this design. Yeah, that's he has a better articulation on the upper torso compared to the other stuff. Because look at, you can see a giant gaping hole right here. If you're looking at it like that, I know to some people this might be a deal breaker. I mean, just look at that. You can see right through his torso. That's that's very unsightly, to be honest with you. Yeah, that to me is ridiculous. Yeah, since I'm home and I have this figure in front of me without, obviously whoever's watching this may or may not get pissed off after the fact, but yeah, I own this figure now, so I can say whatever I want. So yeah, look at the articulation on the shoulder. That's not very good. When you're trying to go perpendicular, this thing collides with the ball joint, and then the shoulder thing comes off. So yeah, with the Gunpla, even the high grade, we have a chest flex. This thing doesn't have a chest flex. So look at it. The articulation for the arm is very bad. Like, look at that. That's okay. Let's take a look at the Strike, right? the strike is actually not bad because nothing collides with the shoulder armor, and the arm can actually, go perpendicular without knocking that piece off. Now with the Exia. Exia, if you're trying to get the arm perpendicular, this thing will collide with that ball joint and you'll pop the shoulder armor off. And you can't really turn this anyway. This is the only position that you can get with it. So yeah, aside from the torso articulation, the rest of this figure's articulation is inferior to the other figures. Yeah, which is very disappointing. And yeah, I mean, having a gaping hole that you can see right through in the middle, that's not really good either. Look at the strike. I don't think any of them have that problem. Whew. Yeah, okay, well, and then the beam sabers keeps falling off. There's no way that they can get these things to actually work with the the current existing beam saber effect parts. So basically, what you need to do is you have to hope that in the future they release specifically designed beam sabers. And I guess, this kind of opens the opportunity for them to do like Age, because I can see Exia and Age sharing the same, beam sabers and stuff like that. Remember, Exia is designed by Kanetake Ebikawa, the guy who designed 30-minute missions, the Kyokai Senki, and Gundam Age, and Gundam IBO. So, yeah. Would make sense if like all his Gundams kind of follows that, have their own accessories that are compatible with each other. Although I think they already did Ebikawa dirty with the Barbatos. The Barbatos figure is actually not very good. So it would make sense that the Exia isn't very good. But the double O riser, the one that they recently announced, looks promising. I don't think they can really screw that guy up, but who knows? It might have some weird articulation gimmick somewhere that makes it really bad. Yeah, Exia, Exia can pull off this look, the one that is like flying or floating and stuff like that. So yeah, it's actually, you know what? I just noticed that it's also missing another effect part, another color application. So if you watch Gundam 00, or if you look at the Gunpla, the high grade is like this too. But technically, these sections are supposed to be gray. They're not supposed to be white. They're supposed to be gray like that. But yeah, it's missing that color app. I would say this GN sword, it's a little bit oversized. The high gray is not even this big, or even the real gray is not that big. But the tip looks like it's kind of warped or bented, something like that. That's a little disappointing. It's very sharp, so I can see this is why it clipped on something and then it become damaged. Oh, that's fixable, but that would affect the resale value. Well, that kind of suck. I'm sure it's kind of like that with all the figures because I've seen some damaged ones. So, yeah, I'm going to check the internet for like damaged Exias. But, oh boy, this thing is just riddled with disappointment. All right, so at least you can put the beam sabers on the back. I don't see it being very useful. I mean, he does have some gimmicks. He's got the 7-sword gimmick where he can carry all 7 swords. But not being able to hold these GN swords properly really sucks. I mean, they just fit in there and they're flopping around because the handle is too thin. Yeah, even with a gripping hand. That is disappointing. You can put some blue tack in there and hope that it holds up. Well, here's a very iconic Exia pose. I don't think he can actually hold this pose with the, well, let's see. you're gonna need a Tamashi stand with an extension section in order to pull this off. See, I have an action base on the back. Let me see if I can get Exia to hold his iconic floating pose. I'm spending a lot of time with the Exia because, you know, obviously I'm a Double O fan, and you know, I'm really hoping that this figure is good, but unfortunately it is not really that good. Okay, well, how am I gonna do this? Maybe get it this way. The legs has to be able to cross, so that's his iconic pose in the anime. Like, he always show up looking like this with the legs crossed. Oh, actually, Exia is female, so it's a she. She always show up in the anime, like in this fashion, with the legs crossed. So, where's the other GN sword? Okay, kinda pull that off. I'm not trying very hard, but yeah, I think it's doable if you just, you know, put some effort into it. I think it can work. Maybe drop the hips. Yep. I think that can work if you try it. You probably need to get one with the extensions, so like the parts, you know, the stands don't collide with Exia. Yeah, it's doable, so that's not bad. You can at least put him in some basic iconic poses. Don't expect like super nice articulation, but it can definitely pull off vanilla poses. Like, you know, being able to carry all his weapons. Obviously, I'm not super impressed with this figure. That's like with the strike. I'm not a Gundam Seed. I'm not a fan of the strike, so I do like the C mobile suits, but, you know, the strike just not something I'm very, you know, interested in. So doesn't really affect me if the strike, they screw up strike or not. Yeah. Alright, so yeah, with some people's figures, like their connectors on this side are very loose and they're constantly coming off. With this one, it's actually not bad. So they either have improved the quality control a little bit, or yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what happened. They tightened things up a little bit. Okay, let's see, the GN sword. Technically, this shield piece actually comes off, so it makes it easier for you to get this thing in the hand. Yeah, that part with the tip of the sword, like getting bent, that really drives me crazy. Yeah, I don't like that at all. Okay, and then we have this shield part, like that. Yeah, I mean, with all 7 swords on here, technically it doesn't look terrible. You know, if you're just gonna have Exia pose on your shelf, just standing like this with the all the equipment on there, I think that's okay. It's much more durable than the high grade, but the high grade really doesn't get a whole bunch of points for being what it is. So, yeah. Now, if this thing was 15 bucks, absolutely, I would not say anything. But this thing is like 25 bucks. Well, equivalent 25 bucks. So, yeah. Let's see. Okay, let's go ahead and try out some classic. Yeah, I mean, the fact that, you know, you can't even hold the sword properly like that is very disappointing. I think that thing is oversized. I think should be more durable. Like the tips should not have problems like that. And look at it; it's already starting to, because it's just held there by the arm. I wish there's a little clip that clips into the forearm. I mean, with the heavy arms, with the other figures, they tend to have like the Strike, right? The Strike has this connection point for the shield, so it can hold it very securely. Like this thing doesn't have anything. Like they hinted at that, you know, a connection point in the forearm, but there's nothing to connect into it. So you know what? Honestly, I think they just butchered Kanetake Ibikawa's stuff. With the Barbatoes, which is also his design, they totally screwed that up, and they screwed up Exia too. So hopefully they didn't screw up the double O. I'm hoping they don't screw up the double O, but yeah. Alright, so unfortunately, I'm gonna have to give Exia a downgrade. Originally, I gave it 8 out of 10. Consider all the problems that this figure has, and now that I am, you know, I can have my personal opinion here without being affected by other people's opinion in my car. I would say Exia gets, instead of an 8 out of 10, Exia now gets a 7 out of 10. And 7 out of 10 is probably one of the lowest grade I have given to a Gundam Universe figure. So, buyer beware. If you are okay with the problems, then by all means. But if these things seems to be a deal breaker for you, then probably just bypass Exia and hope that the double O riser is actually good. Yeah, I might review the double O riser, I might not. Considered the Exia just been very disappointing. But yeah, the Exia will be available for sale. I've been told by my friend that they still have Exia at the hobby shop. So I'm going to be competing against a new Exia. Yeah, so this might be a hard sale too. So I don't know. I might have to put this guy up on Mercari and hope people pay whatever the marketing asking price is on Mercari. Yeah, anyway, that is pretty much it. They did a good job with the Strike. I think Seed got very well representation in the Gundam Universe line. I don't know about the Freedom. The Freedom looks like it's got some issues, so maybe it's 50-50. You know, they did the Strike well, but the Freedom they kind of screwed up. They did the Exia 30, but I think the double riser, it looks promising. So who knows? Maybe it's exactly the same. So yeah, it's not the wing line. It's not the UC. The UC has just been terrible. And I don't know. I don't know if I want to explore the G Gundam stuff because it's a mixed bag. Some people say like the God Gundam is really, really bad, and I believe them because some of these guys are very professional in what they're doing. And I don't know. I don't know if the Master Gundam is going to be any good. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this review. This is a very, very thorough review. So, you know, for someone who's a double O fan. So I know a lot about the suit. And you know, I'm giving you my honest opinion. At this point, I don't know if I can recommend it or I cannot. You just have to take what I say and decide for yourself whether you want to pick up this figure or not. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.